Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the second episode of Character Over Character. Today we have the world-conquering space pirates Lord Frieza and Lord Boros from Dragon Ball One Punch Man. For this episode, it'll be equal stats to where the characters would be. Because of this, and their transformations, we'll have to look at this at a different way. For this, final form Frieza will be equal to Armored Boros, and his other forms that are not gold and black are just the debuffs that they normally are. His first form Frieza is just weaker base Frieza because the final is base. For Boros, without his armor, is equal to full powered Frieza, and Meteoric Burst will be whatever his best transformation is at the time. For this, we'll be using the webcomic for Boros and manga for Frieza. I've read every chapter with Frieza in it, so I'll try my best to keep everything read as possible Dragon Ball wise. As Dragon Ball is fucking massive, and I'll try to keep up with the webcomic, but I heard the newest thing has something. So, whoops. Both also have their armies to an extent, which will be explained in a minute. So, to start this off, Frieza is born on the planet Boros comes from, and Boros is born into the Cold family. We'll see how they change each other's worlds in character over character. So we'll start with Frieza. Frieza has a lot less to talk about and a whole lot less of headcanoning. To split up the groups, Frieza is Boros, Zarbon is Giryan Shoop, Dodoria is Melzagard, Kui is Goribas, the Apul and like the other guys are the Dark Matter Grunts, with Apul being specifically Dark Matter Gunner. The big starting point for Frieza's journey is getting the prophecy that someone on Earth will give him a worthy fight. So in canon, when Frieza was told about the prophecy about a warrior that could challenge him, he went and destroyed the planet. So Frieza's army would set off on his 20-year journey, arriving on Earth for the invasion. So I'm gonna split this into two timelines, cause in the first one, I see Frieza just nuking Earth, which would be hard to spot by the Hero Association as they're all in a big building where they kind of can't see out of. And this will kill people that are a threat like Saitama before you even realize. But that's lame, so I'm going to talk about Timeline 2 where he does the big invasion. On Earth, a Dodoria fight against Elian, where he would rip off the swordsman's arms until Atomic Samurai steps in. In One Punch Man, Megalazard is sliced up a lot, but I'll be assuming Dodoria is as durable as they're strong. This has the fight between Atomic Samurai and Dodoria until Pui Pui Prisoner, Metal Bat, Silver Fang get involved with a 4v1. I see Dodoria getting jumped and dying. Like canon where the heroes have a tough time because they need to go find out there's this specific orb and that they need to destroy this orb specifically. As Saitama is running towards the ship, he'll encounter Kui, who gets one shot. Because Frieza's ships aren't as big as Boros' ships, I could see Saitama either entering and encountering either Frieza or Zarbon early, or being on the opposite end. Either way, Zarbon with a scouter would see Saitama's power, knowing it's not to be fucked with, and transform where he would die. So because this works on base equals base, and first form is debuffs, it's not good for first form Frieza. But because he can transform into full power Frieza, he would be equal to an unarmored Boros for this fight. This doesn't mean a lot for Saitama versus Frieza, but because the two are relatively equal in webcomic standards, this means Frieza's transformation of gold and black may mean he'd be able to get the upper hand. His pain resistance and being able to survive with, half his body should mean Frieza is able to at least take a punch that would blow up half of his body. Even with Saitama holding back, I don't see him realistically beating Gold or Frieza with his incredible strength increasements. Basically, Frieza equals base Goku / Armored Boros. Full powered Frieza equals Saitama with holding back an unknown amount for this example. Gold Frieza wasn't super harmed by base Goku. Super Saiyan God fought Golden Frieza, and I'm assuming God is just the Super Saiyan 50 but with God Ki. And then Black Frieza, one shot Ultra E Instinct and Ego Vegeta, who fought guys above blue. I don't know if there's a multiplier for it, but higher. Saitama being 50 or even higher seems really weird when he isn't really shown any crazy stuff besides Boros stuff in the webcomic. Story and plot-wise, yeah, Saitama wins, but this series ignores plot. So, the timelines are basically, Frieza nukes the planet and kills everyone, or it goes as normal and he probably kills Saitama and gives him a great fight and then nukes the Earth. This stops and kills everyone. A question would be, why would Frieza have gold and black? Well, Frieza took 8 months to train, and just for that he got golden, as he's never trained before. Boros' planet is very tough to survive in, so Frieza would have to actively try and not train at all. And it took Frieza like 10 years to get black. I see Frieza living as long as Boros, who's over 20 years old, at the very least. Old enough to be going out on his own and getting people, and having a prophecy to go to Earth 20 years away. I see that it's more likely if Frieza gets passive training from a horrible planet than not doing that at all. If Frieza wasn't the One Punch Man webcomic, it would blow. Ignoring plot, Frieza would just blow up planet Earth like he did Vegeta. Or just fight Saitama for a really good fight, but kill Saitama off. Or I guess you can go Saitama sweep and then, you know, he dies and might come back. But, Frieza changes the One Punch Man universe by being something Saitama can't punch. This gives Saitama what he wanted, and Frieza is left to rule the universe. The Monster Association is formed, Garou dies, every villain dies. It's a clear victory for Frieza over One Punch Man. Let's see how Boros does in Dragon Ball. Spoilers for the Dragon Ball Super manga. Duh. A young Boros would grow up with King Cold one day. Cold will tell Boros to never challenge Beerus or Boo. This would intrigue Boros instead of discouraging him like Frieza was. As Cold grew older, he would give the planet Vegeta to Boros because of his wish to find a good opponent. The whole planet filled with warriors would be Boros' dream, but I think he'll find out that he could defeat all of them. Once he gets word of Super Saiyan, he would go through the planet trying to find one. Going into headcanon a bit for this one, maybe Bark would return home with his vision of Boros destroying the planet Vegeta. This could have a fight between the two where Bardock could show some Super Saiyan traits until Boros goes a little crazy and causes the planet to blow up. Maybe with a roaring star collapsing cannon. Many years later, Boros would hear about Namek and the Dragon Balls, the ability to get a warrior who could challenge him. On Namek, Boros would track the Dragon Balls through the power in them and through the ki within Namekians. To prove a point, I think he would either launch bullets down or go down himself to get them like Frieza does. As Vegeta arrives on Namek, he would encounter Goribas, who would fight the newly made traitor, and, well, would die to dirty fireworks as, jobber status. As Boros is looking for the Dragon Balls, Giusevich, Giru Ganshoop, and Melzagard would have to fight the Mechian warriors, who, well, they'd get beaten by the telekinetic and regenerating duo. When Malgazard would go to kill Dende, he'd be stopped by Krillin and Gohan, who would, well, stop him and run off. Malgazard would give chase to the two and do fairly well with his duplication, regeneration, and strength. But this changes when Krillin uses his Solar Flare to blind him. So Malgazard loses track of the two and runs into Vegeta. Vegeta comes in and has an attack big enough to just destroy him in his orbs. So I think that's an easy win for Vegeta. After Malgazard fails to come back, Boros would send out Girashoop to find him. Assuming Vegeta's after the same thing, Boros would take his Dragon Balls to his ship. Girsevich would encounter Vegeta, who explained that he killed Malgazard. Girashoop would fight Vegeta, who would be defeated with his telekinetic powers, and gaining a strength boost from Zarbon's monster form, Amp, letting Vegeta drown in the water. Once back with Boros, Girashoop would talk about his victory. Once he learned of the destroyed village, he would have his minions summon the Ginyu Force and have to try and retrieve and revive Vegeta to get the Dragon Balls he needs. Once Girashoop returns, he would carry Vegeta back to the ship, try and heal him. We don't see if Boros' ship has any healing capabilities, but I'll assume he has something. I don't see why he wouldn't. And if not, Vegeta dies. But as Vegeta wakes up, he'd kill the Dark Matter Gunner, which causes Girashoop and Boros to try and look for him. Girashoop would look on the outside, Boros would look on the inside. The ship's size allows Vegeta to take the Dragon Balls, toss them away. But again, Karin too would spot him and give Boros the knowledge of what Vegeta's done later. As Vegeta chases after Krillin, Girasevich would follow behind. As Vegeta arrives, so would Girashoop, and with his Zenkai boost, Vegeta would come out on top. The Ginyu Force arrives, and because Boros doesn't know the password, he wouldn't be able to summon the dragon when all the 7 Dragon Balls were collected. Trying to figure out someone who does, Boros would go to Guru's place, where he would encounter Nail. They would take Boros away, and the two would fight. I see Boros killing Nail. He gave Girashoop shit for not checking if Vegeta was dead, so he should do the same for Nail. Even with Nail's plan revealed and the dragon summoned, I don't think Boros can get to it and make a wish before Guru dies. The fight between Gohan, Krillin, and Vegeta and the newly reborn Piccolo starts. And because Boros is much stronger than first form Frieza, he would toss around everyone. Not kill, but a non-nail boost hurts Piccolo a lot. Before Boros could kill Vegeta, Goku arrives. Boros would notice Goku's similarity to Bardock, maybe making a comment about his resemblance to Bardock. As Vegeta taunts Boros, he'd probably get more excited and probably won't kill Vegeta, as he'd be focused on Goku. The two would fight in a more martial arts battle compared to Frieza's supernatural abilities. Even with Kaioken, he's able to fight against Goku, flexing his own strength. In a final attack against Boros, Goku would charge up the Spirit Bomb to defeat him. He'd be confused what Goku's doing, unaware of what he's doing, assuming it's a weird surrender. This has Piccolo jump in to fight Boros as Goku charges up. Even without the nail buff, the mix of Gohan and Krillin should be enough to keep Boros distracted. As the Spirit Bomb is ready, Boros would charge an attack, but he's stopped as the Spirit Bomb would hit him. All seems fine until Boros arrives, shooting an attack through Piccolo, killing Krillin. This unleashes Goku to become Super Saiyan. As the two fight, Boros would charge a collapsing roaring star cannon, causing them to start to self-destruct. The Super Saiyan would break Boros' armor, getting the final fight started. The two fight until Goku defeats Boros, leaving him defeated and unable to regenerate. As Goku walks off, board would talk about how he enjoyed the fight. This would give Goku the ability to give Boros energy to regenerate and fly away. Back to headcanon, I can see Boros joining Goku like how Vegeta and Piccolo do. Boros is someone who's looking for a good fight and is satisfied by Goku. His existence has been fulfilled, but I don't think Boros would just go away. I think he would want to defeat Goku, but on his own terms. As I said, very similar to Vegeta and Piccolo. But that would take even longer, and that'd probably be a video on its own. So, in this timeline, Boros flies back to King Cold. After licking his wounds, Boros would arrive on Earth with King Cold, where he'd encounter the warrior Trunks. Trunks would do what he does and can, and kill both Boros and Cold. Whoosh. In death, Boros would find himself in Hell, until several years later, he's revived. His regeneration put himself back to normal without a machine, but he would head to the ship and plot. Unlike Frieza, he wouldn't randomly kill henchmen, leaving Togama alive. He doesn't add much, really. After training for 8 months, he would arrive back on Earth, where he'd encounter the Z-Fighters. Boros would send out his army to fight against them as he waits for Goku. Goku and Vegeta do arrive. They would go to Boros and they do the fight. In base, they would match armored Boros, but once they go Super Saiyan, they'd break the armor and unleash the power, which is matching Gold Frieza at this point. And this would force the two to go blue. As Boros and Goku fight, Boros would notice Beerus probably making a comment about fighting him after he defeats Goku. As Goku gets the upper hand, Sorbet would shoot a beam at Goku. Boros would either stop the beam himself or get on Sorbet's shit for a sneak attack, something Boros would probably look down upon. As an honorable warrior, I think you could probably see a sneak attack as very cheap and stinky. Because of it being a surprise attack, he would let Krillin go to Goku. Either way, Boros would get involved with Boros getting into the fight that would cause the Earth to start to blow up. As it blow ups, Whis would do his thing of reversing time, allowing Goku to defeat and possibly kill Boros again. For the turn on power, Goku needs someone, because Boo's sleeping, and he needs someone strong. Boros. I can see Goku just going to hell and being like, hey, we need you to help save the universe. I'll revive you afterwards, and you can fight strong people. And that probably should just be enough for Boros to join. In hindsight, I realized Frost's tricks would be very tricky for Universe 6 versus 7, but I think Vegeta's knowledge of King Cold should allow him to know and tell Goku, like he does in canon, like, hey, I know that guy, he transforms. With Boros also knowing this, he would know that Frost isn't one to be messed with. And unlike Frieza, I see him attacking Frost when they first meet and defeat him. Because Boros isn't like Frieza in a deceitful way, I don't believe that he'd get Frost to attack teammates who have shown to be able to fight against him and have shown to be skilled. This means that Krillin isn't eliminated, Tien doesn't use all of his energy for nothing. Oh, and Roshi has more energy to job to Jiren. If not already, this would be where Frost is eliminated. This means that Frost isn't around for Gohan getting jumped, but Krillin and Tien are. I believe those two could do what Frost did with Boros' help too. As much as I think Boros would want a good fight, he'd probably take the defenseless guy out. It's a battle for the universe, and there's so many other fighters. With Lavender and Vazel left, Boros would eliminate them before spotting Piccolo, who hesitates on defeating Bergamo. I think Boros could encourage Piccolo to eliminate him. If not, do it himself and save Piccolo if something happens. Unlike Frieza being unsurprised, I see Boros being excited for a challenge like Super Saiyan Caulifla. This fight could probably cause Boros' armor to come off, or get ready for a meteoric burst if his armor is already off. He'll get distracted by Kale and is hit by a surprise attack by Caulifla. In this 2v1, I generally see Boros coming out on top on the end, easily tossing Kaba away. When Kale hulks out, I see Boros not getting tossed around, but still pushed back until Goku comes in. Instead of interrupting Goku, I see Boros joining in to help out. As Kale's on a rampage, Boros would stop Dispo and Topo on a platform breaking apart. Boros is straightforward and would eliminate them without playing around with this. This does mean that Vegeta might be eliminated by Jiren, but 17 or Boros could run in and help fight the final Pride Trooper, but get tossed by Jiren until 17 does his self-destruct. While Goku and Jiren struggle, Boros could charge up a roaring star-collapsing cannon, which, like Frieza, Jiren would catch and push away, allowing Boros to push him, Jiren, and Goku out. This is for 17's plan of winning the Tournament of Power. As they arrive home, I don't see Boros just staying evil after being revived, even if he does. Broly movie. Boros has no use for the Dragon Balls, really. He would more than likely use Paragus and Broly to test Broly's strength. I see the movie happening with Paragus' death, as Boros could see him as holding back Broly's power. He gets rocked for like the 2.5 or 3 hours, and yeah. He wouldn't attack Chile's ship or anything. He'd be interested in Gogeta, but kind of go away after that. As he flies through space, he would get word that the galactic prisoners are rampaging through the galaxy, and that Granola is after him to kill him, which Boros would accept the challenge. He's contacted by a mysterious person about Granola's whereabouts. Oh. While he travels, Boros would find a dimension outside of Universe 7 where Gas wishes to be the most powerful in the universe. And then Boros would probably kill him. Because Boros wasn't in the universe, he's not affected by it, so 10 years of training was enough to kill Gas and the traitorous Ilek. In the final battle, Boros would drop his armor and go full power against Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. But like Frieza, he'd easily win. Boros, who worked hard to match Goku and Vegeta, has easily defeated them. Boros would leave the two, disappointed at his victory, as he's back to stage 1, the most powerful. Outside of my idea of Boros becoming good, Boros changes a lot with his ability to kill, and his moral for a good fight makes him more reasonable for the Tournament of Power, as he allows Krillin and Tien to live for a bit longer. Boros doesn't make huge changes outside of becoming his wishes are simple, and in the end, he got his worthy opponent, and then some. But he also returned to what he disliked. Someone that no one could challenge. In conclusion, it's really tough to choose who's better in each other's universe. Frieza kills everyone early on, but Boros has the capability to live longer, cause more changes, like Piccolo not having Nails boost. I think Boros was more compelling, But with my rule set, because he wins so much sooner, and the changes are technically greater, the winner is Frieza. Until What If Boros becomes a good guy comes out, and then you can argue Boros changes more by existing and being the perfect middleman for Goku and Vegeta. Next time on Character Over Character.
Have no fear, students. I am here.
Major, watch what you're doing! We don't want to destroy the city, do we?
What do you mean? Destruction and creation are two sides of the same coin. You must destroy to create. That is the law of the universe.